For a glute biased RDL, the goal is to maximize glute engagement throughout the hinge. Both the glute and hamstring variations of the RDL will work both of the muscle groups. You're not switching one off and the other one on, but by changing your execution, you can bias the movement to place more tension on the glutes. Setup is similar to the hamstring biased RDL or a stiff-legged deadlift. The Romanian deadlift starts from the top, so we want to use a bar rack and walk the barbell back rather than starting off of the floor. We want your feet to be about shoulder width apart, weight balanced through the midfoot with a little pressure into the big toe for full foot stability. We don't want to be putting all the weight through our heels and having our toes come up off the ground. That reduces stability and limits your ability to produce force. Grip the bar and think about externally rotating through the hands to engage your lats and lock in your core. If you don't know what externally rotate means, imagine you're trying to bend the bar in half by turning the outsides of your hands slightly backward. One common mistake with beginners is not stacking your torso and having flared ribs with a pelvic tilt. Here's an example where I'm not stacked and you can see the curve in my spine. Whereas here, I've corrected it. My ribs are pushed down over my pelvis and the spine nice and neutral. When your torso isn't stacked, the lower back picks up extra tension that should be shared by the glutes and the hamstrings. By stacking properly, you create a strong, stable position that protects the spine and allows the hips to do the work. Stand tall with your shoulders pulled back and your ribs pressed down so they're stacked directly over the pelvis. Here's where the glute bias comes in. The execution is what differentiates a glute versus a hamstring bias. Unlike a hamstring biased RDL, here we keep a soft bend in the knee, around 30 degrees or so. This knee bend places the glute max fibers in a stronger position, whereas straighter legs would shift more of the load onto the hamstrings. Initiate the hinge by pushing the hips back, keeping the bar close to your shins. The bar should stay tight to your body. This allows the hips to shift back fully as much as possible without unnecessary stress on the lower back. With this glute bias setup, you'll notice a longer range of motion than a hamstring-focused RDL. For range of motion, you don't need to touch the bar to the floor. It's not about depth and how far or how deep you get the barbell down. Most people reach their maximum hip flexion well before the bar gets to the ground. So you want to stop when the hips can't travel further back without rounding the spine. At that point, we're going to reverse the motion by pushing the hips through and forward. This is not an up and down movement of the chest, but a back and forward motion of the hips. The chest will simply rise and lean to match what your hips are doing. With each rep, control the lowering phase. The eccentric portion of the lift produces the highest mechanical tension on the glutes, which is a key driver of hypertrophy. Think long, smooth, and controlled on the way down. Remember, we can't turn on or off hamstring or glute. We will be using both. Use that stretch and tension to your advantage by controlling the eccentric and driving the hips through to return to the top position.